You know when people just don't know their place, so you teach them a little lesson to remind them you're not a slave to whatever nonsense rule they come up with? Yup, I've been there. It all started a few weeks ago when my mailman Mike knocked on my door looking half amused, half terrified. He asked me what on earth was going on in our neighborhood, and I was like, "What do you mean?" That's when he dropped the bomb. Welcome to Prodigy Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top notch HOA drama. Mike told me that our beloved HOA president, Karen, had instructed him to let her inspect all incoming mails, especially mine. Her excuse? It's for the safety of the neighborhood. You never know what these homeowners are up to. I thought Mike was joking. There was no way this woman actually believed she could check my private mail like she was some FBI agent in a power suit. But Mike swore she was dead serious. She even told him that if he refused, she'd label him an enemy of the board. Yeah, apparently that's a thing now. Before we dive in deeply, let us know in the comments what country or which city you're watching this story from. We'd love to know how far this story travels. Mike said she made him promise not to tell anyone, especially me, and offered him some hush money to keep it between them. The man laughed in her face. Lady, I deliver bills, not secrets. That's when I knew Karen had lost it completely. This wasn't the usual HOA nonsense about trash bins or lawn height. This was a whole new level of invasion. And when Karen's involved, one thing's always certain. She doesn't stop until someone stops her. So I made up my mind right there. If she wanted to turn my mailbox into her personal spy vault, I was going to make sure she regretted every nosy second of it. I just didn't know then how far she'd go, or how spectacularly she'd fall when her little game backfired. Since Mike told me about Karen's ridiculous inspection plan, I started paying closer attention to my mail. And what do you know? The next few deliveries looked tampered with. Torn corners, wrinkled envelopes, and that weird sticky residue like someone tried to reseal it. Classic Karen handiwork. I didn't even need proof. It reeked of her arrogance. She probably thought her board authority gave her some divine right to pry into other people's business. I went straight to her house. The woman was in her yard pretending to prune flowers she probably stole from the community garden. I asked, Karen, why are my letters coming already opened? She smirked like she'd been waiting for me. Maybe your mailman's careless, she said with that fake concern that could curdle milk. I told her I knew she'd been stealing and reading them, and if she didn't stop, there'd be consequences. She crossed her arms, tilted her head, and said, Consequences? Oh, please. You think anyone's going to believe you over me? That smugness nearly broke my last nerve. From that moment, I knew logic wouldn't work with her. Karen's kind never listens until reality smacks them upside the head. Literally, if possible. So I waited, watching, and just like clockwork, the pattern continued. Every few days, another envelope was torn. Even my Amazon packages started showing up late, opened, or repackaged in sloppy tape. She was escalating, probably trying to find something she could use against me at the next HOA meeting. But here's the kicker. Tampering with mail isn't just some HOA violation. It's a federal crime. She thought this was still her little community playground, but she was poking the wrong bear. I could have gone straight to the police, but where's the fun in that? No, I wanted her to feel it. To understand that some boundaries aren't just invisible lines, they're electric fences with her name on them. So while Karen strutted around like a wannabe postal inspector, I quietly started planning. If she wanted to dig into my mail so badly, maybe I could give her a little surprise next time she reached in. Something small, simple, sharp, something that would make her think twice before ever touching another man's property again. I finally had enough. I couldn't have that woman keeping tabs on me, knowing my every move and treating private envelopes like community gossip. This wasn't petty neighborhood drama anymore. It was invasion with a capital I. I decided to answer arrogance with art, not rocket science, not violence, just a stunt so theatrical it would bruise her ego and expose her for the petty tyrant she was. For days, I rehearsed reactions, camera angles, and timing. I wanted humiliation, not harm, and I wanted the whole scene to read like a public reckoning. I mapped the sidewalk, timed passing cars, and memorized the cadence of her strut. I wanted the neighborhood to witness her fall from pedestal to punchline. I bought a simple mousetrap from the hardware store and modified nothing but placement. The bait was believable, an old receipt folded into an envelope so it would catch the eye of a nosy hand. I practiced how to hold my breath, where to angle the camera, and how to look casual while my heart tried to beat through my throat. On execution morning, I left early with a calm that tasted like victory. The camera blinked red from my windowsill. Karen's routine never failed. 10 o'clock, cardigan, clipped heels, the look of someone born to administrate other people's lives. She sashayed down the pavement like a queen checking on peasants, glanced around to ensure privacy, then slid open my mailbox with a deliberateness meant to intimidate. Her fingers found the envelope. The trap closed with a sharp, tidy snap. The sound was small and criminally satisfying. Her squeal sounded cartoonish, utterly pathetic. Her hand jerked back as if stung. Then she emitted a high, incredulous scream that sliced the afternoon like a broken siren. She clutched at bleeding knuckles and staggered into the road, face blanching under makeup, voice turning into legal threats thick with indignation. Neighbors poured out in socks and slippers, phones aloft. The mailman hovered, mouth a perfect O. Karen tried to spin sympathy, but the footage betrayed her. The covert approach, the greedy reach, the precise snap, and subsequent operatic collapse. I shared the clip with a few key residents and watched her power shrink under the hot glare of public evidence. Her tantrums after that looked frantic and unhinged, and gossip began to devour her alibi like kindling to flame. Karen's hand looked like she'd wrestled a blender, but instead of learning her lesson, she went full Karen mode. Sirens, lawsuits, dramatics, the whole Broadway production. She called the cops, screamed about domestic terrorism, and demanded I be arrested for weaponizing a mailbox. The officer on duty had to bite his lip to keep from laughing. "Ma'am," he said, "you were tampering with someone's federal mail." She froze, trying to rearrange her face into something resembling innocence, but it came out more like constipation. Karen tried to flip the story, claiming she was protecting the neighborhood from suspicious mail and possible contraband. The officer gave her that dead-eyed look people reserve for lost causes. "Ma'am, unless you're employed by the United States Postal Service, that's called a federal offense." And just like that, the power shifted. You could see it drain out of her, like watching a balloon deflate in slow motion. Of course, Karen still sued, because that's what Karens do. She strutted into court wearing a neck brace, a hand cast, and more makeup than an insurance commercial, acting like she'd survived a war. Her lawyer tried to paint me as some unhinged vigilante setting traps for innocent women. But the video was my golden ticket. There she was on camera, creeping like a cartoon villain, opening my mailbox with that signature smirk right before the trap snapped. The courtroom chuckled. The judge had to bang his gavel to keep order. When the verdict came, it was poetry. I was fined a measly few $100 for negligent setup of a mechanical hazard. Karen, however, $70,000 fine, federal mail tampering conviction, and a permanent criminal record. The judge even added, "And Miss Karen, I'd suggest keeping your hands to yourself next time." The courtroom burst into laughter. Now, every time the mailman passes my house, he salutes me with a grin. As for Karen, she walks by clutching her new mail with both hands like it's a live grenade. My trap didn't just catch her hand, it caught her pride, shredded it, and mailed it right back to her. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.